Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Best Friends by Design podcast. We are your hosts, Janet.
And I'm Giselle.
And thanks for being here. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, last time I saw you was in Cabo.
It was so good.
Beautiful Cabo, St. Lucas. First time I've ever been there. I've always wanted to go because I know that it was, I'm used to like Cancun, Mexico, like Playa del Carmen, like all those other very beachy destination places.
Me too.
Like relaxed, chill, beautiful beaches. But Cabo, I know, is more like closer to the West Coast, more Americanized in a way, but still like very authentic. And I've always wanted to go there. It's just a hike from here. We went for the C.Next designers event. That was so cool. What a great experience, right?
Such a well-produced, well-curated event. They went all out.
Yes, they did.
I wasn't expecting that.
Every detail.
Yeah.
You had downtime in between, immersive keynote presentations and speakers, and it was just so
inspirational
and intense, but in a good way. Motivating too, educational, like all of that.
Very educational. I mean, I took tons of videos just of the speakers presenting. But let's tell them a little bit about what CNext is.
Yes, Cosentino.
It's from it's produced by Cosentino, and it's a summit where designers and industry partners are invited.
This was their third year doing that. Usually they started off by it was CNext for fabricators and installers. Right. And then they decided the designers were the ones sourcing the product, and the designers, architects, we were the ones sourcing it. So they wanted to do something for us designers, which is amazing, and I feel like they customized their events to suitable for designers and what designers would like and what the fabricators and the installers would like, because it's a different demographic, I think. Don't you think?
It is.
Would you say?
Yeah. I mean, what we experienced, I think it was definitely curated for designers and architects, for them to really feel immersed and just get a feeling for the pulse of where we're at.
Right.
It was really interesting to me.
The sound bowls.
Of
course, designers are going to appreciate something like that.
Yeah, we did. And it was really cool. So it was a combination of panel discussions, speakers, combined by different events that were hosted by their industry partners. We had beautiful lunches and dinners, and they even had yoga in the mornings, which surprisingly we didn't go to.
I know, but it was so nice.
We need to sleep in.
Yeah,
waking up to those sunrises.
Was
gorgeous. It was great.
Yeah, that was magical.
So let's talk about the takeaway. As designers,
for the event itself.
Yeah. So it was really interesting. There was kind of a theme throughout the whole event. It was definitely a sense of community, definitely a sense of connection. Not only as industry partners, it was a sense of connection between the designers. It was great to meet such amazing speakers. I mean, I'm such a fan.
There was designers from all over the country.
Yeah.
Celebrity designers, that you've seen on shows and, social media. They were there. It was oh my God, I'm like, this person.
It was cool.
It was great.
I think one of my highlights was definitely Jeremiah
Brent.
Oh my, can we talk about how cute he is?
He's adorable. I'm officially a fan. I love him. But just not, of course, he's
adorable.
He's eye candy.
Definitely eye candy.
He's eye candy, but he's so humble. And
he's deep,
and he's a deep thinker, and his love of not only design, but the connection that he has with his clients and the love he has for them. He said that he's friends with all of them.
Wow.
With all of them. Can you imagine? So he really puts love into what he does.
Yeah. I enjoyed when he was speaking about his process
Yeah.
how he really goes in depth. It's really important for him to know his clients, to like really feel the emotion. Anybody that watches his show or follows him on social media, they know that he's a crier. He's just he's very in tune with his feelings, which is so nice and refreshing. And I mean, looking that cute and crying doesn't hurt either, right?
Exactly. He's a cute crier. Not an ugly
He's
crier.
definitely not an ugly crier. But, I think the takeaway that I got from that was the storytelling. He's definitely a storyteller. And to hear it expressed the way he did was just so beautifully put, and it was very inspiring.
Definitely.
I definitely came back feeling a reconnection with how I want to continue our process, because I think doing it for so long and for so many years and going on burnout mode sometimes,
you lose sight of really what's important and why you're really doing this.
Yeah. And I think that was the messaging throughout all of the events.
Yeah.
Whether it was from the fabricators or from Cosentino explaining the history of their brand and their
materials and how they're made and just
the sustainability, the giving back to the community. There was definitely, it's so much more than just a product or a service that we're providing. What I got from it was
there's history
and how to convey our brands as well. I think sometimes we're so focused on showing our beautiful work, or even maybe getting a little technical, that I came back, calling, Marissa up, who does, our PR marketing and branding. And I'm like, we need to be a better storyteller. We need to talk more about who we are and what we do. Yeah. So for me, that message was, I'm going to implement it right away. And I think that's what these summits are about. It's about getting something out of it and then coming back home and implementing it. And whatever resonates with you and your brand, I think it's great.
Absolutely. That's what these events are made for. It's to inspire you. It's for you to go back to your design studio when you get back home and implement things that you've learned. I love them. I mean, if I can do this a few times a year, that would be great.
Yeah.
And so going back to Jeremiah Brent just came out with his book. I can't wait to get it. I'm not sure if it's out yet or not.
I'm not sure.
Remember he was showing like snippets of like the front cover that he dedicated to Nate. About how cute. Nate inspired him to see the world of design, because Jeremiah Brent wasn't in design before.
Right.
And so it was so sweet. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah. What was really interesting about this book is the fact that because he's moved so many times, he wanted to research what makes people stay in their homes for so many years. That some people stay in the same home their whole lives. And that's what this book is. So I'm curious to see and hear his stories, because he's all about that. He's all about why.
Growing
and understanding. And I think it's a great way to discover the different essence of design. It's so much more than making a space beautiful, but it's about definitely showing your history. And then when you see a person's home, or you're designing somebody's home, that there's meaning to it, that there's, some culture, some depth, some patina to it.
Yeah, exactly. To the story.
Yeah. And for me, that I'm a minimalist, and I'm so used to kind of liking everything perfect. It definitely inspired me. And I happened to go to storage, and come across some of Brett's mom's little artifacts. And normally I'm like, I don't want too much stuff out because I'm too minimal. But I looked at it with a different eye, differently. And Brett's mom was an interior designer as well, with exquisite taste. And when I was looking at the objects, it's like something opened up inside me. like this emotion and feeling. And I was touching the objects and cleaning them and trying to analyze which pieces we were going to keep or not. And I started crying.
Aww.
Because I was like, oh my God, there was so much emotion
Wow.
in each of the objects. And there was this one cool book I came across, and it was Andy Warhol. She would collect a lot of Andy Warhol's art. And there was this book, and it was about Sam and a cat. Well, and my curiosity, I sent it immediately to Brett's daughter,
Sam.
which is Sam, and she loves cats. And there's no way that Brett's mom would have known that Sam would have liked cats.
And that her name would be Sam?
Well, she knew that her name was Sam because she was born by the time,
okay.
but not the cat part.
Okay.
And when I sent her picture, she actually thought it was art that she had, because she likes to draw, and she thought it was a piece of art. But the point is that it had meaning, and it opened up something in me, and that's what these talks are about. It's like opening up what you're accustomed to and getting you uncomfortable and maybe comfortable with.
And think outside the box.
Yeah. So right now I have some of the objects in the home displayed.
Can't wait to
Let's see how long it lasts, because I tend to move my accessories around a lot.
I'm curious to see where you put them.
You'll
and
see.
How did you put them in an acrylic box with little?
No, you know what I did, because I wanted to last.
Right.
Is we have, the guest bedroom, which is like a multi-functional space that's a den, and I have the bookshelves. And every time we go on a trip, I'll bring a little object there, a little souvenir. So I mixed it with our souvenirs, and now I kind of feel like I want to layer it with photos, like maybe photos of the kids, because I don't have one picture.
Like
leaning, and or maybe of of one of our travels that we do, and maybe layer it with the object. So now I'm inspired to do that, because I realize that's what brings emotion. That what brings heart.
That tells the story.
Look at me just holding on to one of Brett's mom's objects.
And these objects
hold energy.
They have energy. That person, whoever, fell in love with it at a market in Thailand when they were visiting, or Indonesia, like whatever. That person's energy of that love of wanting that object and bringing it to the U.S. and like putting it in their home and then passing it on now to their next of kin. That's crazy if you look at things like that. But that's what tells the story, and that was one of the other takeaways that we learned, at the event, was what the magazines are looking for when they're looking to publish you.
So let's talk about who they had. Talk about an amazing panel.
They had an amazing panel.
Hearst
magazines, all the editors, House Beautiful, Veranda, El Decor. But they gave the advice was hard to hear, some of it, but it was like so productive and so helpful.
So I took some notes. Because I kind of videoed some of it, and some of the takeaways that I think we should all learn from the experiences. Number one is when you're submitting to the magazines, do a Dropbox link.
Yes.
And then they want one PDF page with like
all the photos together.
Like 4 images, like one PDF page with 4 photos. And this is where the messaging was consistent, even with all the panel guests, with Jeremiah and everybody else, was that they want a story. So when you're submitting to the magazines, submit it with a story. What makes your job stand out? What makes it different? What makes it special? Some of the harder truths were like, they don't want a copy and paste job. So if you guys are copying, I'm sorry, I hate to say this.
They said, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Change professions.
Oh my God. Yeah. She was like, change professions.
But you know what? She's right.
She is.
That's not what we're here for.
We need to have, they want unique points of view.
Yeah.
And they want a story. And then the other thing that I made a note of, when you're sending and submitting your projects is do your homework. Go to the publications, see what their style is. Go into their editorial calendar is really important because they said, like, you could submit a beautiful job, which checks off all the boxes, but the timing might be wrong.
Yeah.
So it's important that not only you do the homework on which magazine you're going to be sending the information to, but also to understand that that magazine might have changed editors and might have changed directions, really understand where they're at so you don't get frustrated.
I wonder if they save their submissions. Like, let's say you submit your work, but right now they're not looking for anything it doesn't fit, right? And it doesn't fit with the editorial calendar for that year. Do they save it, or do you have to like keep resubmitting?
I think you have to continue to resubmit because think about it, they get so many.
That would have been a good question to ask. Actually.
I know, that would have been.
Yeah.
Well, now we know better.
We can email them.
Yeah, we know better now.
Yeah, but they're great. And they also said to form a relationship with the magazine as well.
Yeah.
Like, introduce yourself. Who are you? Who's your brand? What are you about? What's your, like, because that's part of the story too, is the designer who designed it and their story.
For us, that it's so hard. We're always looking for content for Instagram. And the magazines, normally, they don't want
your stuff out there.
So what they said is a little clip, a little like teaser on Instagram, but not like a carousel of all your photos of the project, because now it's been seen. And so they don't want that. They want the exclusivity of the newness, which is really difficult. And they say, sometimes it might take months for them to get back to you.
Meanwhile, your marketing is sitting there.
Yeah.
The beautiful photography
that
in a
you spend
Dropbox
so
folder,
much money
and you want to put it on your website, and you want, you
have to be patient.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to play the game.
Yeah, I'm going through that now.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough and it's crazy. But you could put a little clip, maybe even a little video, just nothing that shows too much.
But then you can always like archive it,
I guess,
save it, like if someone's interested, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they didn't talk about video, they were more about photos. They want the exclusivity. So Ryan Jackson,
I love him. I'm team Jackson,
right?
Team Jackson for sure. Such
a nice guy. We actually purchased from him. We purchased his products. We love his products. We met him a couple years ago. He's also a designer.
And he has a product.
And he was one of the people in the panels. And one of the things that he talked about was this 100 questionnaire that he gives to his clients, which I found that extremely fascinating. I'm actually going to reach out to him and ask him to share his questions with us.
I'd like to see what questions are on
I would, but it's all about getting intimate and personal. The more you know about your client, the better you can design for them.
Definitely.
And what's interesting about this whole thing is, we came from an era of like business is business, personal is personal. You don't mix either, both. Right. Boundaries, the whole thing. And
not with interior design, though.
No.
We really get personal.
We do.
We're in your personal space.
We are. And it was interesting how a lot of them said they're friends with their clients. Mm-hmm. They talked about how personal they get. And obviously with these questions, I think you get to know your clients better. It was interesting. He even said, I want to know what side of the bed
you sleep on.
Which I found that very interesting.
Yeah, he's great. And
he was
a
great
person too.
Yes, he's so approachable, so sweet, so caring, so professional as well. I think he's like the whole package.
Yes, and sweet and tall.
Oh my God. So crazy tall. 6 foot
definitely
7.
Commands the
I think
room
it was
when
6
he walks
foot 7.
6'7".
Yeah,
I asked him.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah, basketball
it was crazy.
Player status.
Tom Dixon. He was so interesting.
Interesting fella.
Yeah. Oh my God, that British humor gets me always.
I know.
Or the dry humor. It's very different, but.
He's an icon.
He's an icon. We're such big fans. One of the projects he talked about that I was really fascinated was like the structure that he's immersing underwater.
He has some very cool projects
that he showed us, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
And very inspiring.
And it shows the history of his furniture, like an evolution. He started off as he was in a band. He was a rock and roll.
He's a rock and roll
He's
cool
a rock
dude.
and roller. And then just ended up designing, for the passion that he had also. He started designing furniture. And it shows like the evolution of like furniture. Then he went into objects and lighting, and he's just evolved.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
was what a
so
cool
many
guy.
inspirational stories. Edward Lehman, he's California Closets, it's household name, you know what I mean? He had and he's also like connected to the fashion world as well. And it wasn't a talk about closets, even though I never mind talking about closets, but he really what he said, his messaging too about family and the importance of home, and how your home is it's so important because it protects the ones you love, and all of your belongings and your memories are there, the things you treasure. And it's just showing like the soul of how the importance of home, and how we as designers can share that with someone and help them cultivate that.
And also how, when you're going through a hard time, like he was saying how his son is sick and he's had to go move back in with him, and a home means something completely different when you need it to heal you. And creating these spaces that not only nurture or it's for entertainment, because we're always thinking, okay, how are you going to use the space? But when you're not feeling well, when you're sick, when you need it to be a place where
you need to be nurtured.
You need to be right. I think it's so important, and sometimes maybe we lose that concept of the fact that a home needs to also heal you and protect you and hold you.
Aside from being fabulous.
Exactly. Yeah.
All of that.
All of that. So much to do as a designer. Oh my God.
Think about it. All the boxes we need to check.
We've got to make sure it looks beautiful. We have to make sure it functions. That it comforts, that it speaks to.
In good and in bad.
That it speaks to all.
In sickness and in health.
That it speaks to everybody living in the home, because it's the husband, the wife, the kids, how they entertain, how they live, what culture, how do they dance, what's going on. There's so much we have to take into account. So much emotion, so much history. I think it's a beautiful thing and a huge responsibility that I don't think any of us take for granted. I think it's a big responsibility for us to make these homes feel like who they're going to live there, not just a showroom.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the messaging across the board at this event was really that, and the Cosentino family and the second generation. Let's talk about that. I mean, the son, the main Paco Cosentino is there, and then his children too, and they love their business. You feel the passion that they have.
The whole time at the event, it's like you got a sense of family. They treated you like family. They treated you like as part of their community, even if you just met them. You didn't feel,
true. Definitely,
right?
Yeah, I felt that like love,
and the way we got treated too. I mean, from the dinners on the white party on the beach,
that Perlick had sponsored.
Beautiful,
and the breakout sessions. How cool were those?
They were so cool.
Benjamin Moore hosted that sound bowl like meditation.
Definitely a highlight. That was probably my favorite.
Amazing. And Four Hands was there too. They had a presentation which was talking about sustainability in their products.
Laura Kohler was definitely one of those great speakers.
Yeah. And she talked about, it's another example of generations in design and in your company.
And history.
History, fifth generation, 5 generations of Kohlers.
And what they're doing to continue the family
Yeah.
legacy, which is Kohler. It was really inspirational. And again, it was the same brand messaging, the why, the storytelling. It was consistent with everyone who spoke. And the way she spoke about the brand. Like
With pride.
I look at Kohler so differently.
Yeah.
And
I visited the Kohler factory.
You did?
In Kohler, Wisconsin. It was such an amazing experience. Loved it. I will do it again. Let's go back. Let's do
go.
it.
Oh, wait a minute. We're forgetting. Hello, you won an award.
I did. I couldn't believe it. Remember
the prize. You won a prize. You won a prize.
A prize. So, well, first of all, we didn't know. At the end, spoiler alert for any designer who has not gone to this event, at the end, they give amazing prizes. Okay, it's a raffle, and they raffle every designer in attendance. So
Janet won. She was a winner.
Yeah, well, they were giving out great.
Oh my God.
The Cosentino in Spain to visit the, I mean, how many experiences were they?
A lot.
Were they gifting? I mean, Arteriors gave a $5,000 merchandise credit. Kohler gave the Veil Smart Toilet. I wanted that one. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, I would love to have that. I love that toilet. That is such a hot toilet.
How many women out there are saying, I want a hot toilet? I don't know.
Me.
Janet.
But what else did we get?
Oh my God, we're all.
So I get to go to the Lutron experience in Austin, Texas.
You better take me. What the hell?
I better have a +1.
I'm your +1. You better take me. Even though Brett will be so jealous because he loves lighting. Sorry, babe.
Sorry, there's no B.
Now you get to turn it around. Hello, we all got coffee makers from Mila.
Mila gifted. There was 300 designers in attendance.
Yeah.
Gifted each one of them one of the beautiful, smart, portable coffee machines. It's beautiful. They were actually making the coffee for us during our little breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
So we had their lattes. It was amazing.
Speaking of the breaks, and then they
How
had...
How fabulous is that, though?
It was super fabulous. And they had also, they were selling hats and bags and all of that. So in between
local vendors,
right, in between the summits and the talks, how our attention span is only so much. So they knew that, and they broke it up by giving us breaks and having these beautiful local artisans come in, and we were able to shop at the resort right there, so it was nice and convenient. And
they let you go at an early time where you can enjoy the resort and chill, go to the pool, hang out, and rest if you want to.
And it gave us a real good time to connect with the people there. There's some designers I have seen in other summits that I got to reconnect from other states, so it was really cool.
It was really nice.
Patty Dominguez, from Cosentino.
She's the most loved person in the room. I mean, the love that was going out to her was you could tell she's just people love her.
She's
a
glue.
Connector. She's the glue that holds things together, and she's great, and she's so kind, and it was nice to see the love and respect that Cosentino's staff and their whole team has for each other.
Yeah.
It's great, but
I definitely love the feeling that we left the summit with, which was we felt invigorated. I think we felt a new outlook even in what we do, which is hard. We do this so often, but it's not very often that we get to sit down and talk to other designers and share stories and share experiences. And it made me feel like we're all going through the same experience.
Yeah.
And I think it feels less lonely when you have a sense of community, and now like this branch of network that we have with the brands, with other designers, with Consentino.
We're here to lean on each other at the end of the day.
And Brett came as well, and he really enjoyed it, which was nice to see him, you know, because, you know, Mr. Professor needs to get his fill, and, you know, he doesn't get impressed that easy. So it was nice to see him excited and motivated as well.
Yeah.
Inspired, I guess, would be the takeaway. We all left inspired.
Inspired and rested at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah,
it was great. I can't wait to go back next year.
Me too. You took the words
now
right
that
out of my
I know
mouth.
what to wear, because I was freezing my ass off. It's crazy. It was only 2 or 3 degrees warmer than Miami,
but it doesn't have humidity.
Felt so cold because of the humidity.
No humidity.
I was freezing.
I know.
I came
so
back,
was I.
I still have like a little thing.
Tickle. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it was worth it.
Yeah, it was
definitely worth it.
So great. So that's all we wanted to chat about.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be covering Salone in the next few months. That's
the next one. Is
event.
In April. We're going to be covering it
I'm
as
looking
well.
forward to that.
So
that'll be a good one.
Oh, but at least with that one, I have like experience. I've done that so many times.
Yes.
And
maybe we should share tips.
Absolutely.
You need to teach me how to pack a carry-on. 5 days in a carry-on.
Oh, so for...
Like, I have to see it.
You don't believe me?
No, I'm tired of you telling me about it.
Well, you
lecturing
saw me
about it, but I want to see it with my eyes.
I have become a master packer.
To be continued.
No, I am.
This is an episode in itself.
I'm a master packer, and I will teach you guys how to do it.
Okay.
There's a science to it.
I'm sure there is.
We're gonna break it down because we're gonna be going more to these events. You know what? We're so busy working
no one
all
has
the time
to check in a bag. That's like the worst. Like time is money.
Hello.
That's the worst way to waste money and time.
I've had my bags lost.
Oh.
And I haven't had it for days.
No, I couldn't handle that.
It's awful.
I would have, that's like meltdown moment for me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our talk, and we're going to be covering more of these events, and let us know what you want to hear, what details you want about the events. We're going to be posting more about it and who the speakers were and little clips and everything. So make sure to follow us on Instagram.
Thanks again for being here. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. And if you're following us on Spotify or iTunes, leave us a review, 5-star, please, only. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.